yesterday we were talking about the weekend totals. That's become I enjoy. I'm starting to love that segment. Like,
could we call it the weekend wrap up?
It's like box office wrap up or something like that. Weekend wrap up sounds like we just went out and partied all weekend and then made like a flip book of it online.
I don't know.
Really,
maybe the audience can choose what to do. If you are subscribed to our TikTok channel, you can give us ideas.
Yes. Okay. How about this? Before we even, I'm gonna go back. So before we get started, I do want to tell everybody that if you want to follow us on social media, we do have a Pop Culture Crisis page for Twitter. That is at popculture_show. And then Facebook and TikTok, which both have clips, really good clips from the show. Go and follow us on there. Those are both on Facebook and on TikTok at Pop Culture Crisis. So that those you can follow us there. And remember, the full episodes are available on Spotify if you want to watch just the audio version, and the clips are available on YouTube. So I say we get into box office talk. And now that we've gotten through the what do they call it? Housekeeping.
Yeah.
When you're discussing this stuff. So, basically, this article is from Variety, and it says domestic box office nears $4.4 billion in 2021, down 61% from 2019. Now, obviously, those numbers are 2019 was the last year we had like a full box office pre-COVID, right?
Yeah.
So it says this article was written by Rebecca Rubin, and it says, despite the best efforts of Spider-Man, Black Widow, and other mighty Avengers, movie theaters have yet to rebound in another topsy-turvy pandemic-battered year. According to... You okay there? According to early estimates...
I'm sorry. Usually that doesn't happen.
I'm just going to continue. According to early estimates from ComScore, overall domestic box office revenues in 2021 are projected to hit $4.4 billion through the final days of December. The final number could fluctuate in the next few days. The stretch between from Christmas to New Year's is usually the busiest time at multiplexes, but the rapidly spreading Omicron variant of COVID-19 may have other plans. The flu has other plans.
Oof.
Should estimates hold, it would represent a huge 91% increase from 2020. From 2020, of course, that's not a high bar to strive for, since ticket sales in that period sank to a 40-year low. Obviously, a lot of these places were hampered by mandates. Most of the movie theaters were closed most of that year.
Yeah.
So you weren't going to get a lot of people going to the movie at that period. That makes sense.
Yeah, like they started like shutting down. They're like, nope, sorry.
And people weren't going to risk it. That's understandable. There's an illness going around. People aren't going to spend the time at the movie theaters. But what we're seeing now is that slowly but surely people are coming back to the cinemas. One thing that I thought was interesting was there was a lot of people at the start of the pandemic that thought that this was the death knell for movie theaters, that they were just never going to recover, and that we were just going to see the end of movie theaters in general with the rise of streaming services.
Yeah.
I don't really see that as feasible, because I don't see them as the same thing. You see a movie in your home on streaming for the comforts of home, for the ability to do so. You can watch a movie in your underwear and not pay a gazillion dollars for your food, right? But when you go see a movie at the theater, especially when it's a spectacle of a movie like a comic book film or a big budget movie, you're going for the overall experience, right? You're going to see it on a large screen. You're going to see it in a theater with other people. As annoying as some people might be at movie theaters, you're going there for the experience, right? So it says 2020 they sank to a 40-year low. Domestic earnings in 2020 were barely able to reach $2.2 billion, while cinemas spent many months shuttered and studios released hardly any high-profile movies. So when you think about it, in 1 year, it's doubled back. It's not quite at 2019 levels, but it's doubled back a year from where it was a year ago. So hopefully we would see that on trend. If the movies are good next year, that we can get back up there and double again, if possible. I don't know if that's actually a feasible thing to happen, but it would be nice to see that, because I want to see good movies do well.
Yeah. Well, like, as you said, like, if people are passionate about the project or the product that they're producing, they will come.
Yep. Sony, I believe Sony is like the biggest winner as far as like money made this year, per film. Like, it had the most return on investment for films this year. You okay over there?
Yeah, I'm just trying to think, because like
Disney didn't
I'm
really.
just sorry.
And I've got some interesting numbers here that I thought were really interesting, but we'll get down to the bottom of this article first. It says, next to 2019, the last normal period of the box office, at the box office, revenues from January 1st through December 31st, 2021 will be down approximately 61%. In 2019, Avengers Endgame, The Lion King, and Toy Story 4 helped propel overall grosses to a mighty $11.39 billion by comparison. The 2020 box office tally was down 80% from 2019. This year, things were supposed to be different, and to some degree they were. Hollywood began to unveil buzzy movies in earnest, and people began to trickle back to their local multiplex. But results were mixed. Superheroes reigned supreme, of course. The biggest movies of the year include Spider-Man: No Way Home, $467 million domestically, and only in week 2, I might add. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, $224 million domestically. Wow, that's like nothing compared to Spider-Man. Venom: Let There Be Carnage, $212 million domestically. Black Widow, $183 million domestically. While films targeting adult audiences such as West Side Story only made $23 million, and The Last Duel just $10 million. Struggled to sell basically any tickets whatsoever.
Yeah.
Still, there were a few scattered success stories that didn't involve comic books, like Daniel Craig's James Bond, No Time to Die, $160 million domestically, and that one doesn't really talk about how well that movie did overseas. It did extremely, like way more than that in its overseas box office. And then Fast 9 did $173 million domestically, and A Quiet Place Part 2 at $160 million domestically. And the Ryan Reynolds sci-fi Free Guy, which I loved. Did you see Free Guy?
I saw clips of it.
Okay, you weren't there when we went to see Free Guy. Free Guy was probably next to No Way Home my favorite movie of the year. Really, really good.
Well, news about Free Guy, it's going to be on Disney Plus if anybody wants to watch it in their own comfort of their home.
When is that? Is it coming out?
They said somewhere in January. You remember it on the list?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Yep. And now with variants, I think people are just less scared of the variants now. So like, if it's a project they're really passionate about and they want to go out and see, they're going to go support it. Sony movies are proving that every day. Venom's got a strong fan base, despite the fact that Sony does not have the name recognition that Marvel Studios does or that Disney does. Sony's a much smaller. It's not smaller, but when you think of like movies, you think of Disney and you think of Warner Brothers. I think Sony comes in third when you really think of movies.
Their Spider-Man movies, including the animation ones, are really good. And
they did Ghostbusters Afterlife, so they want to give the people what they want. And I think that they're being rewarded for that at the box office. So I was looking through some of the information here on OMB reviews. I was just looking at the box office numbers, and if you look at so for box office 2021, right? We're down here for all. If you see the numbers scrolled all the way over, see the red numbers up there? Everything in red there is movies that lost money this year, that did not profit at all. Of the 59 movies that I counted on that list, how many of them do you think profited?
Not that much.
18.
Oh, really?
That's it. Only 18 movies made net profit domestic, or overall gross. Now, that's not to say that they won't make that money back up in like if it's a movie with toys, if it's a movie with like a Ghostbusters, will make more money, will make as much money on their toy revenue as they will anything else, right? So between that and the fact that it seemed like the movies that had the best chance of success were lower budget ones that just didn't require as much to break even, right?
That's true.
The Last of Us, not The Last of Us Part 2, A Quiet Place Part 2 is a perfect example of that. Did really, really well at the box office because it didn't need to make $100 million to profit, right?
And it's a good story.
Yeah, it's a good story. Emily Blunt. Who doesn't love Emily Blunt?
I still need to watch the first movie. I was like looking for the first movie. I really want to watch it because I heard good things about it. But I did watch the second one. Really good.
Yep. The first one's really, really good.
Snake Eyes. I hate that movie.
Yeah, there's a lot of movies on here. You just wonder, how did this get made? And like, it's clearly contributing to why these movies, why the box office is down so much. But if they can do more, go for more, less Snake Eyes, movies that no one wants, less of, did anyone see Antlers? I didn't even know what Antlers was.
I think it was on Netflix, right?
Okay. But a lot of these movies, just at least the big budget ones, you're just like, why does that... Don't Breathe 2. I don't know anyone that went and saw Don't Breathe 2.
I saw the trailers for it. It looked interesting.
I don't know. That guy didn't need to be redeemed. That movie didn't need a sequel. That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of movies on here that's just like it didn't need to be made. But the biggest, the one that bums me out the most on here is definitely the Suicide Squad, which I am the saddest about. Luckily, I rewatched it last night. It's not, if it's not a masterpiece, it's definitely one of my favorite movies. It's probably my favorite movie of the year, but I didn't see it at a theater, so I didn't count that in what I was talking about earlier. So
come on, Godzilla versus King Kong.
Yeah, but that movie was one of the early indicators that box office was coming back. That movie did pretty well. It just had such a massive budget, and like those movies, just I feel like we're kind of shifting away from superheroes as this grand scheme, or at least as these big breadwinners at the box office. Or at least I would hope that if they stay up there, other genres do as well. I would like to see, like we're going to talk later about Moonfall. I would love to see a return to like monster movies or disaster movies, because clearly what it is, like CGI just does really well. Whether people don't have the attention span anymore, it seems like, to stay at a theater without the bangs and the whistles that come from big budget films, right? So I don't know. My hope is that
I blame technology for that.
Yeah, right. Like our attention spans are so non-existent
and
now.
I also blame SpongeBob, even though I loved it. Like,
why do you blame SpongeBob?
Because they did research, so all the kids like who are born my year, so SpongeBob came out in 99, and they did research. Every kid who watched SpongeBob, their attention spans is equivalent to a goldfish.
Oh my god.
And I'm like, Jesus.
Makes perfect sense.
Come on. We were SpongeBob.
So maybe we make a really long SpongeBob movie and make people sit through it and try to force their attention spans back open. Well,
there's like 3 SpongeBob movies. I like the original SpongeBob movie because it has the Gooby Goober song in it.
How's that go?
It's like, I'm a Gooby Goober kid, yeah. And it's just like Patrick wearing high heels and like fishnet.
That's adorable.
Legging.
Or that's hot.
Oh. There's so many fan arts on.
Oh, I don't even want to know. I want to know nothing of that. Please keep that away from me. So,
come on, SpongeBob got legs for days. Patrick got legs.
The end of the article says, basically, box office analysts didn't expect a return to normalcy in 2021, especially given that vaccines weren't widely distributed until a few months into the year. However, the studio executives, I honestly think that shouldn't matter, because January and February are like usually slow months in the cinema anyways, right? Yeah. So I feel like it should have been a closer. I mean, it's getting back up there. I mean, doubling what you made in 2020 isn't a lot still, because 2020 was so bad. But if they can continue an upward trend, that's what they need to do, and they need to do that by giving the people what they want, and not make movies with agendas, and just make movies that general audiences want, not what Twitter wants, not what weirdos on Tumblr want. Make movies that general, normal, everyday people want to go and see.
And also, stop making sequels that people didn't ask for.
Yep. We don't need Matrix 5 or 6. We don't.
And Avatar 2, I'm kind of excited for it, but we don't need a total of 5 movies. Have you saw that?
I've only seen... Have I seen the original? You're talking about which one?
The Blue People.
Okay, not The Last Airbender.
No.
Okay. No. I've seen in like when it came out in 2009, but oh yeah, it's like at least that old.
Oh God.
Oh yeah. That's one of those things where it's like Mr. H did a thing about it, talking about it the other day, where he's talking about, like, I'd like to say that nobody cares about this, but clearly it does have this large fan base that he couldn't believe. Like, there's a lot of people that want that sequel. I find that hard to believe, because I just never hear any buzz about that Avatar.
Are you sure? Because I know Disneyland, and Disney World, they changed a ride to be like the Avatar theme. Like, I know they did that, but
they changed what? How?
So I forgot which ride they replaced it to be Avatar, but basically it's...
Well, doesn't that prove that point? They're saying a lot of people care about it.
Nobody really asked for that ride.
Okay. Well, I mean, I have no interest in seeing it. We'll probably see it anyways, just to talk about it on here. But the beauty of that is, though, you're always open to being surprised.
Yeah, but do you need like a total of 5 movies?
No.
Because there's rumors.
I know.
There's rumors that they're going to come with 3 more.
Every 2 years, like every other year for like the next, I don't know, man. that doesn't really interest me, but what can you do? So it says down here, so the industry experts hope that 2022 will be the year in which audiences tire of watching movies at home and will be eager to return to the big screen. Pending any new release date reshuffles, promising future attractions of the blockbuster variety include Warner Brothers comic book adaptation The Batman, starring Robert Pattinson, Disney and Marvel superheroes Black Panther 2, Universal's Dino Adventure, Jurassic Park Dominion, and Sony's Across the Spider-Verse Part 1. So those are really good, right? And to me, the thing about that is like the Warner Brothers one, they're not doing day and date next year. So if you want to go see the movies, you got to go to the theater to see it first. Like, I think Spider-Man No Way Home proves that you can do that. You don't need to put it on your streaming service right away.
That's true. So
get people back out to the theaters, because those theaters don't make a lot of money.
They don't. Like, how much commission do they get?
The theater keeps, from what I understand, keeps 40% of the ticket sales, and then that's why popcorn and pop and everything else. I called it pop.
I know.
I'm a Midwest person. As soon as I said it, I'm like, I regretted saying it.
It's so adorable when he says pop, like, because as a West Coast person, I never heard of anybody call it pop until I met Brett.
In the South, they call it Coke, no matter what kind you're drinking.
Well, that's what.
At least that's what I was told.
In Arabic, they call it Pepsi. And it's supposed to be like Pepsi, but they call that for every soda. So like when they ask you, do you want Pepsi? They mean soda. Okay. It's not just Pepsi.
You learn something new every day. So the studio keeps 60, the theater keeps 40. Go back and support your local movie theater, man. That's an experience I don't want to see go away. We have the Warehouse Theater out here. I love going to that theater. I love having the reclining chairs. I love being able to see, because I have such a short attention span, right?
Yeah.
So the only way that these movies can keep my attention is to put it on a screen 3 gazillion times my size and literally force me to sit there and watch. Right. I always enjoy it. Right. Yeah. It's just that when I'm at home, I don't have I guess it's attention span, but I don't have the discipline to sit still and watch it on a regular size TV.
Yeah, you're like me, where we have to do something at the same time. Like, I work while watching movies or TV shows, but one critique about the movie theaters was the reclining chair. Can you make your heated seats last longer? Legit, throughout the movie Kingsman, I had to press it on 5 times.
They don't want to start a fire.
Come on, I need heated seats.
Let Miracle start your building on fire so she can stay warm. Will you? Come on.
Let me have heated seats. I get cold easily.
Maybe the biggest compliment that I can give the Suicide Squad is that I was able to watch it without doing something else. Like, that's very difficult for me to do.
Well, it's because I feel like Suicide Squad, they kind of did it right, where they have different visuals.
I really wish they would have released that one first. I know it's not on topic for what we're doing right now, but I really do wish
that... He's a fanboy for it.
I am. I liked it the first time and I loved it the second time, so that's... Yeah, so let's hope that for 2022, box office numbers jump back up again, and these theaters keep seeing the wise move to keep putting out movies that people are pushing to want to see. Ghostbusters Afterlife, Spider-Man No Way Home, Free Guy did really well. Look at these movies that are doing something right, learn from that, and then keep making movies like that so that the people can get what they want, the studios can make their money and keep profiting, and we can all get something out of it. Thanks for watching this clip, guys. If you want to see full episodes or follow us on social media, links are in the description below. Bye.